Hello, my name is Brianna Fuller. This is my urban theory presentation on Tactical Urbanism, Short-Term Action for Long-Term Change by Mike Lydon and Anthony Garcia. Tactical urbanism was coined in 2010 by Mike Lydon, who earned an urban planning degree from University of Michigan and is now based in New York, where he runs his company, Street Plans Coalition. Tactical urbanism is an approach to neighborhood building and activation using short-term, low-cost, and scalable interventions and policies. This form of urban design is used by community members ranging from the mayor to nonprofit groups to single citizens wanting to implement immediate change. The small-scale projects are determined by the groups involved in the problem, and a creative solution is implemented in the neighborhood to address that problem by the community members. Mike Lydon and Anthony Garcia wrote Tactical Urbanism, Short-Term Action for Long-Term Change. The view is that tactical urbanism can proactively address the tension between bottom-up and top-down planning processes by creating a better and more responsive environment for all. This theory assumes that small-scale temporary changes in the city will result in long-term permanent urban elements. Tactical urbanism is a response to the slow conventional city planning process, outdated policies, and the disregard for the needs of the community by governmental agencies. This idea has always been around. People in the past have taken city change into their own hands, but a name and formal description have not been associated with the idea until recently. We all know how it feels to be frustrated with how long things take to change for the better when you wait on government entities, and this type of urbanism stands up and says, "That's not good enough," and I admire the attitude in the face of issues that really matter to the community. I agree that tactical urbanism is a practical theory of strategic practice that has proved itself through its successful small-scale projects. I believe that tactical urbanism gives the governmental bodies, groups, and citizens the power to test out larger-scale urban projects without a large investment in the money and time. The resource of time and money alone should make any municipality eager to try more forms of tactical urbanism, and I believe that these ideas are spreading and making their ways into these city groups. Tactical urbanism also gives citizens a sense of power and ownership over projects they are a part of, which can help in the long-term success. If a person feels a sense of ownership towards something, they become more responsible for it and will make sure it stays cleaned up. They want to see it succeed. The reach of tactical urbanism is endless. Even small towns, we can implement elements of tactical urbanism. There is not a prerequisite for any form of it. This is why it can be so powerful. Almost everyone wants change in their communities for the better. This theory is not specific enough that everyone needs to agree on a certain way to do things. There are countless ways to implement tactical urbanism, and all a person needs is a problem to solve. One example of a tactical urbanist movement is Parking Day, and it is spread all over the world. It originated in 2005 in San Francisco. 2 leaders of the design firm Rebar went out to lunch, paid the parking meter, and set up sod, a tree, and a bench on the on-street parking spot. They were not breaking the law, since they had paid their parking meter to rent to use the space. This action gained attention, and soon others wanted the firm to host one in their own city. The firm responded with a how-to guide for others to do their own parklets. This movement has caused more car-oriented places to be converted into long-term public parks, showing the need for green space in the city. The book A Pattern Language by Christopher Alexander that we touched on in our readings has the basic ideals of tactical urbanism present in his pattern theory. He says, "We do not believe that these large patterns, which give so much structure to a town or of a neighborhood, can be created by centralized authority, or by laws, or by master plans. We believe instead that they can emerge gradually and organically, almost of their own accord, if every act of building, large or small, takes on the responsibility for gradually shaping its small corner of the world to make these large patterns appear there." He is saying that the small changes slowly evolve into the pattern of the city as a whole, and that these small-scale changes are done by the people who live there. The emphasis on the existing conditions and what the people want from their own urban community is a common thread between Alexander and Leiden and Garcia. Jane Jacobs, in Death and Life of Great American Cities, tells us, cities are an immense laboratory of trial and error, failure and success, in city building and city design. This is the laboratory in which city planning should have been learning and forming and testing its theories. Tactical urbanism projects are experimental, and they do view the city as a laboratory for testing in real time. Because of their small scale and cost effectiveness, the use of tactical urban projects is how much of testing larger urban theories can be accomplished before the large commitment of money, time, and material is invested. Leiden and Garcia's criticism of urban design is that large-scale projects are too slow-moving for the immediate needs of the community. Many times, large projects are still not funded years after the approval, and sometimes they do not get funding at all. This can cause the community to lose hope in the project and their planning agencies. Tactical urbanism projects can be a nice middle step to keep the public's interest and to keep funding steady. Another criticism of typical urban design is the importance of listening to what the people need. We have seen this in most urban design theories in our text. The focus on how people live in the present and adapting spaces based on the types of communities already there is crucial. The social aspect of this type of urbanism defines people as a tool, not just as an element to design for. The people see the issues, and the same people take on the task of developing creative solutions. The economic side is very frugal. Tactical urbanism focuses on small amounts of material and monetary investment to make a big change. This is a benefit when large urban plans are in their beginning stages. They can be tested to be sure they are successful before the large amount of money is spent creating the permanent project. The underlying priority for all tactical urbanism projects is to make them permanent, or contribute to the same type of permanent city element. If these small-scale projects prove to be successful, it can help convince the governmental agencies to invest their resources into them. The theory does not follow extremely specific rules for implementation, as other theories we have read about do. The only hard requirements for all tactical urbanism projects are that the goal of the small-scale projects must be to cause permanent change. The size, cost, and materiality of the projects change drastically. Sometimes all you need is some paint to add a much-needed crosswalk in the neighborhood. Every project has different needs. This theory has both short and long-term scopes that improve the communities they are enacted in. The first is more controlled by the people, or the bottom, and the long term is more controlled by the government agencies, or the top. Although this theory responds to the government policies failing, it does not address how to fix the slow process in the first place. Utilizing this theory can help to bridge the gap between the public and the government agencies, but the planning departments need to change their own policies to make their projects have a quicker impact. Tactical urbanism is disturbing the order of things in the interest of change and creating livability gains where we all notice them most, in our neighborhoods. I enjoy learning about this type of urbanism because it brings the community together for the betterment of their shared spaces. It gets people involved in their community, and people get excited when they see change. This form of urbanism shows people the possibilities of their own urban environment and shows them they have the power to create a better one. I've learned that urban design can take place at any scale, from parking spots turned into green space to master plans adopted by the entire city. All scales have a profound impact on a community and promote long-term change. Not all plans are best executed by government and planning agencies, and sometimes plans executed outside the laws and ordinances send the strongest message of the needs of the community. As this theory evolves, I believe there will be more statistics on how these short-term projects lead to lasting changes. I believe once cities understand what tactical urbanism is, they will be more open to ideas and actions under this movement and be able to nurture these ideas to bring their citizens and the more formal planning agencies together for the benefit of everyone.